Right, so basically it's going to be the same sort of ideas, but just probably trickier numbers through these questions. Okay, so a little bit more practice of the same sort that we had in the 6 to 7 just earlier. So I'm going to give you, you're going to solve this by factorising. I'm just trying to think how long to give you. I think I'll give you 2 minutes to start off with. Okay, that was probably a bit too long, but anyway, here we go. So get it all onto one side. Let's put everything onto the same side as the positive 9x squared. We've got 9x squared. Add on the 42x plus 42x. And I'm going to add on 7 to 42 to get 49. And I'm just inclined to go with 3x and 3x at the beginning. And then 7 and 7 seems to make sense, especially as soon as you do 7 times 3x is 21, 7 times 3x is 21. Add those two together, so I'm going to get 21x, that, and another 21x from that, and you can see that adds up to the 42x that I need. So, therefore, we've got exactly the same thing, so just 3x plus 7 equals 0. So 3x equals minus 7. So x equals minus 7 over 3. And we only have one solution to this question. I'll do one more of these. Okay, have a go at this one. I'm going to try to see if you can do it in a minute this time. Sorry, thanks for that. Sorry you can't hear me. Just go over that again. It's just a difference of two squares problem, and you just square root that, gives you, that's 4x all squared, because 4x times 4x is 16x squared. The square root of that can go there and there. Then we have minus the square root of that here and plus the square root of that there. And you can just check by multiplying out that you do get this. So from here we get 4x equals 5, and from here we get 4x equals minus 5. So we get x equals minus 5 over 4. So there are two solutions to this problem. There's some more. You can have a go off the sheet. Okay, that's all I want to do on that. Let's just move on to some more trickier completing the square problem. Now this is one's a little bit harder than the previous ones we were looking at in the 6 to 7 ones, because we've got a minus 2x to deal with. Although when you've got it equals to 0 to solve the equation, there is a straightforward way of dealing with it. But I'll give you 2 minutes to have a go at it. Right, so when you're confronted by these, I think the simplest thing to do is to divide by however many lots of x squared you got, the coefficient of x squared. I'm going to divide throughout by minus 2. So divide the minus 2x squared by minus 2, I get x squared. Divide the 9x by minus 2, I'm going to get minus 9 over 2x. And I'm going to get plus 5 over 2 here. And it just makes sense to work in fractions. Because next I'm going to halve this. So I get x minus 9 over 4 when I halve that. And then I'm going to, right, written that wrong. 9 over 4, that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to take away 9 over 4 squared and add 5 over 2. And that's all squared. So we get x minus 9 over 4 all squared is equal to, that's going to be 9 squared is 81, 4 squared 16. So I'm going to take that to the other side. So I'm going to 81 over 16 and minus 5 over 2. This goes plus when I take it over. This goes minus when I take it over. Then I'm going to square root both. Let's just add these two together. 81 over 16 minus 5 over 2, so that's going to be 840 over 16. Take 40 over 16 away, gives me 41 over 16. So I've got 41 over 16 that I want to square root. And remember, I want plus or minus. So that will give me x equals minus 9 over 4. Add to both sides gives me plus 9 over 4 equals square root of 41. Can't really do much about that. Sorry, I don't want to put it there. But take plus or minus square root of 41. Can't do much about that. But I can square root of 16 to get 4. So the best way to write this is 9 plus or minus root 41 over 4. Just looking at the time, we've got 2 more sections to go with a tricky end. I think that you can practice some more of those. The method's exactly the same, just the fractions may get on the second one are a little bit harder, that's all. So quadratic formula, just practice doing the quadratic formula with these. Actually, let's give you a bit more to do with it. Let's do this one, and I'm going to give you, I'm going to put the time for 2 minutes. I'll probably stop it early if I see some correct answers appear on the screen. Okay, let's go through that now. So we get 2x squared. We've got minus 11x. Take the 11x to this side, and then we're going to take the 5 over, so that gives me plus 4 equals 0. Now, as we're going to use the quadratic formula, so ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. That will tell us that x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we've got a equals 2, b equals minus 11, and c equals 4. To put those into the formula, we're going to get minus 11 plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 121, minus 4 times 2 times 4, a is 2, c is 4, all over 2a, which is 2 times 2. And all we do now is just grab the calculator. And we get, let's put in the fraction, put in negative 11. I'll do plus square root 121, and it's going to be minus 4 times 2 times 4 all over 2 times 2 equals, and that's as simple as we're going to get with the third formula. So we get minus 11 plus root 89, minus 11 plus root 89 over 4, or minus 11 minus root 89 over 4. If we want to turn that into decimals on the calculator, press the SD button, and you get this one as minus 3.91, and then use the back button you change that to a minus and then press equals and SD button to get minus 5.1 for the other value. Right, so next section is a trickier quadratic problem we had with the 6 to 9 one. So 3 minutes, let's see if you can solve this in the time. As you can see, I made a mistake. Should have put plus 11 on the previous one because you had minus b. Minus minus gives you a plus. Okay, just look at the last question again, just because you're probably doing the problem I mentioned it. I made a mistake. B is equal to minus 11, and you should have minus b in the formula. So minus and minus will give you a plus of plus 11. So it'll be plus 11 throughout that problem. Moving back to this problem though. So we've got S is the boat speed in water, and the river has a current of 9 kilometers. So the upstream speed will be S minus 9 kilometers an hour, and the downstream speed will be S plus 9 kilometers an hour. So we want to try and set up a problem, and the best way to set up a problem is to use the time. We're told the total time is 5 hours. So 5 is equal to, now it travelled 20 kilometers upstream in 20 divided by S minus 9. You do distance divided by speed to get the time. But we've got to add on to that the time it took to come back downstream as well, because 5 hours was the total time. Now from here, if you watch any of my previous videos, we sometimes, when we have quadratic algebraic fractions, we combine these two and make them equal to this side. I think in this case, when you've got one like this and it's equal to a number, if it's equal to 0, just make this into a single fraction. It's the easiest way. But one like this, I suggest you times throughout by S minus 9 and S plus 9. So you get 5 times S minus 9. and times by the s plus 9 as well, all at once. Now if we times this by s minus 9, that cancels out with that. And if we times it by s plus 9, we're going to have to obviously have 20 times s 9. So if you can imagine, here I'm going to, okay, if I'm going to, I've got the s minus 9 here, and I'm timesing throughout by s minus 9, so I'm going to get an s minus 9 appearing there, and s minus 9 appearing there, and it's going to cancel with there. I'm going to times throughout by s plus 9, so I'll get it appearing here, I'll get it appearing here, but it's going to cancel out with the s plus 9 here. Right? So all I need to do is get 20 times s plus 9 to make this all work, and then 20 times s plus 9, s minus 9 to make this all work. Now what you'll see is I've got a common factor of 5, hopefully. You'll see that, and that'll make life a lot easier if you cancel out the 5. Let's just cancel out everywhere by 5. Common factor of 5 there, common factor of 5 there, common factor of 5 there. I must cancel everywhere there's a new term. Terms are separated by equals and pluses and minuses. So I've cancelled that down to make my life easier. So I'm going to get s. This is difference to 2 squared, so that's nice. S squared minus 81. Then I get 4s plus 36. And I'm going to get a 4s minus 36. So those are going to cancel. So that leaves me just 8s on this side, which I'm going to get to the other side. So I get s squared minus 8s minus 81. I'm just going to use completing square method to solve this, okay, because I can't bother with the quadratic formula. So I'm just going to get s minus 4 squared, subtract the 8 squared, and minus 81 will equal 0. So I'm going to get s minus 4 all squared equals minus 64 minus 81 equals 0. I'm just looking at checking this, so something doesn't feel quite right about it. I can see what it is. I knew something didn't feel right. When you've done as much maths as I have, you get to know when you've made mistakes sometimes. I want 4 squared there and 16 there. The numbers just didn't feel right. So we get s minus 4 squared minus 16 from 81, so that's going to give me 91, 97, minus 97 here equals 0. S minus 4 squared will equal 97. S minus 4 will equal the plus or minus the square root of 97. So I get S equals 4 plus or minus the square root of 97. So it must be 4 plus the square root of 97 because, okay, because the negative minus 307 will give you a negative value. So we've got 4 plus the square root of 97. Now, average ground speed. The easiest way to do this is, well, it's going 20 kilometers upstream and then back again. So therefore, it's going to travel 40 kilometers in 5 hours. So therefore, the average speed will be 8 kilometers per hour. Did 40 kilometers altogether, and then divide by 5 gives me 8 kilometers per hour. I'll be back here again tomorrow at 4 o'clock with another topic. Look up what that topic is for tomorrow, and it will be so at level 6 to 7 we'll be doing simultaneous equations, which will be quite straightforward, and 8 to 9 obviously there'll be some quadratic simultaneous equations for the 8 to 9 stuff on that. So that should be more interesting. Thank you and goodbye.